The cold bit deeper than the grease under his nails as dawn crept over the city, and the ache in his arms matched the weight he carried every day, an engine that never quite turned over, a life stuck between survival and hope. He was a single dad and a mechanic, the kind who measured time in oil changes and school drop-offs, who learned how to stitch courage together from exhaustion. On that morning, with his little girl bundled against his chest and the garage lights flickering like tired stars, the world felt unforgiving, and he felt painfully alone, unaware that one moment of human kindness would begin to rewrite everything he believed about strength. Before the story pulls you all the way in, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion, take a second to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel Grandma Dearie. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. He had not planned to be a single father. Life had rearranged itself without asking, leaving him with a toddler's hand wrapped around his finger and a responsibility that demanded more than he thought he had. The garage where he worked smelled of metal and patience, and he gave both freely, patching up cars the way he tried to patch up his own days. Bills stacked like rusted parts on a shelf, and sleep came in fragments between midnight feedings and early shifts. Still, he showed up. He always showed up. Because the smile of his daughter, small and fierce, made the world feel survivable even when his chest felt hollow. The city knew him as a background figure, the man with oil-stained boots pushing a stroller past neon signs and late buses. He learned to keep his head down, to avoid the looks that asked questions he had no time to answer. Some nights, when the garage closed and the streets went quiet, he would sit on a bench by the river with his daughter counting lights, 2/4 reflected on the water, pretending that the future was a simple thing. Those were the moments he felt closest to peace, even as fear whispered that one broken paycheck or one missed repair could unravel everything. Then came the evening when the cold sharpened and his daughter's laughter echoed too brightly for the quiet hour. A routine walk stretched longer than planned, his mind lost in calculations about rent and repairs, when the familiar hum of city life paused. The presence was gentle, not intrusive, a uniform moving closer with a calm that felt like a blanket. He braced for judgment because that was what he had learned to expect. Instead, what met him was attention that saw him not as a problem to solve, but as a person holding together a fragile miracle. The female officer did not rush or lecture. She noticed the way his daughter clutched a small badge she had found on the ground earlier that day, the way his hands trembled with fatigue rather than fear. In that still moment, something unspoken passed between them, a recognition of weight carried and love earned the hard way. She listened without words, offering presence instead of pity, and in doing so, she shifted the axis of his night. The city lights softened, the river seemed less cold, and the world felt unexpectedly human. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of that encounter followed him like a warm echo. He began to see help where he once saw only walls. A neighbor offered to watch his daughter during late shifts. The garage owner adjusted hours without being asked. He applied for assistance programs he had been too proud to consider, discovering that resilience did not mean refusing support. The officer's kindness had cracked something open in him, allowing hope to breathe again. His daughter sensed the change before he did. Her laughter came easier, her sleep deeper. He started fixing more than engines, he fixed his belief that he had to do everything alone. The city revealed small mercies he had overlooked, sunrise over rooftops, the smell of fresh bread from a corner shop, the steady rhythm of work done well. Each day built quietly on the last, a montage of effort and grace, of scraped knuckles and bedtime stories told with a tired smile. There were setbacks, of course. A major repair went wrong, a bill arrived early, a night of doubt crept in when he questioned whether momentum was just an illusion. But now, when fear rose, he remembered that moment by the river, the calm presence that reminded him he mattered. He learned that asking for help did not diminish him, it connected him. The world did not become easy, but it became shared, and that made all the difference. As seasons shifted, the garage buzzed with new business, and his confidence grew steady and real. He enrolled in a certification program, studying after bedtime with grease still under his nails. He imagined a future where his daughter would see him not as a man constantly running on empty, but as one who learned to refill. The city that once felt indifferent now felt like a place where small acts could ripple outward, changing lives quietly and completely. If this story is touching something tender in you, if it reminds you of a moment when someone showed up for you or when you wished they had, please take a moment near the end of this video to like, share, and comment. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive and reaching others who need them. Just before the ending, here is a special request: comment the word hope below if you believe a single act of kindness can change a life. In the end, he understood that strength was not forged in isolation. It was built in moments of connection, in the courage to accept a hand when one is offered. The single dad mechanic kept working, kept loving, kept moving forward. Not because the road smoothed out, but because he learned he was not alone. And somewhere in the city, under lights reflected on water, that truth continued.